Welcome to the Explainer. Okay, let's dive right into this. Today, we're taking a really structured, evidence-based look at one of the absolute most fascinating transitions in a person's life, the years between 65 and 75. Now, our culture heavily romanticizes this decade as, just a permanent vacation. But the reality on the ground? Well, it's often a whole lot more complex. Have you ever wondered why so many people, maybe even yourself or your parents, quietly admit that their late 60s and early 70s are actually some of the most challenging years they've ever faced? I mean, it sounds completely counterintuitive, doesn't it? We're always told this is the golden era. But the source data consistently shows that this decade brings major overlapping shifts. We're talking health, relationships, identity, and independence, all hitting at the exact same time. It's a heavy load to carry, and honestly, that difficulty is incredibly valid. And here's the difficult truth that really helps us understand all this overwhelm. It's usually not one big, catastrophic event that makes this stage so hard. Instead, it's the invisible weight of accumulation. We're talking about dozens of small changes happening simultaneously. But hey, here's the good news. By understanding these exact challenges, we can actually prepare for them, manage them, and absolutely thrive right through them. So let's break down Challenge 1, the identity void. Think about it. For decades, your life follows a highly predictable pattern. You wake up, you go to work, solve problems, raise a family, you stay incredibly busy. And then retirement arrives. At first, that freedom feels amazing, right? No alarm clocks, no demanding deadlines. But after that initial honeymoon phase of retirement kind of fades away, a lot of people are left sitting in the quiet, grappling with a really heavy, isolating question. Who am I now? Without the daily routine of a career, without that external validation, there's a profound emotional weight. People often start to feel lost, lonely, or suddenly just less important to the world around them. And this brilliantly illustrates the core issue. What most people don't realize is that retiring from a job isn't the actual problem. The real danger here is retiring from your purpose. Work isn't just a paycheck, is it? It provides structure, social connection, and a tangible sense of daily achievement. So when you lose the job, you lose that underlying framework of purpose. But here's the thing. Purpose does not retire. The individuals who adapt best to this decade are the ones who proactively replace their old work routines with new, meaningful structures. This means getting out there and volunteering, mentoring younger generations, learning completely new skills, traveling, joining local clubs, and really dedicating focused time to family. It's all about taking that exact same energy you put into a career and channeling it directly into new, vibrant avenues. That brings us to our next hurdle. Challenges 2 and 5, body and independence. A lot of adults in their 60s still feel entirely young in their minds. But physically, well, they start to notice slower recovery times, reduced energy, joint stiffness, or maybe just changes in balance. Simple tasks suddenly require more planning. And honestly, it breeds a very real, frustrating fear of eventually becoming dependent on others just to live your daily life. We tend to think that getting older is the enemy here. And this is where things get really interesting. The research clearly shows that aging itself isn't the biggest threat to your independence. Inactivity is. Simply stopping your physical movement is far more dangerous to your freedom than the actual number of candles on your birthday cake. So the crucial point here is that preserving your independence requires actionable daily habits. It's a true regimen. We're talking about going to preventative checkups, prioritizing strength and balance exercises, eating properly, getting quality sleep, and constantly challenging your brain with puzzles or new skills. Look, the goal here isn't to move and look exactly like you did when you were 30. No way. The goal is simply to keep moving, because consistent movement is literally what protects your freedom. Let's transition to the third challenge, and this is something many people are deeply hesitant to talk about: the connection crisis. Between 65 and 75, a lot of people face the heavy, really painful reality of losing loved ones, parents, siblings, lifelong friends, or even a spouse. Combined with adult children being so busy with their own families, this stage can create a profound emotional and physical loneliness that is incredibly tough to navigate. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the framing. We often treat seeing friends as a luxury, right? Like a bonus. But social connection is actually a biological human need. Meaningful connection, whether that's a weekly phone call, joining a religious gathering, or just having a regular coffee date, is a medical imperative. It's just as critical to your physical health and combating decline as eating your vegetables and going for a jog. Alongside those emotional shifts, we face practical ones too. Challenge 4, Hidden financial stress. So many of us just assume that retirement means crossing a finish line into total peace of mind. But then, suddenly, healthcare costs rise, home repairs pop up, and inflation makes everyday essentials way more expensive. You might start worrying about outliving your savings, or find yourself unexpectedly supporting adult children financially. And this financial stress doesn't just stay in your wallet. It totally shatters that assumption of a worry-free retirement, disrupts your sleep, and impacts your overall health. But here's the empowering part. You don't need a bottomless bank account to fix this. Financial security isn't about having unlimited money, it's about having a clear plan. Creating a realistic budget, reviewing expenses regularly, and sitting down with a trusted financial advisor can immediately empower you and replace all that anxiety with genuine peace of mind.
That brings us to Challenge 5, which is a deeper, often overlooked philosophical shift, the existential reframe.
As I navigate all these physical and practical changes, people naturally begin thinking much more heavily about the passage of time. Questions that used to feel a whole lifetime away suddenly become intensely personal. Things like, how many healthy years do I really have left? Did I spend my life on what truly matters? And what legacy will I leave behind? These questions can feel deeply uncomfortable, but they really shouldn't be a source of fear. Instead, they can become a phenomenal, powerful source of motivation for exactly how you choose to spend your time right now.
Because what most people don't realize is that as we age, happiness actually stops being about massive achievements, and it starts coming from simplifying life. It's this beautiful transition to wisdom and gratitude. It's about finding profound joy in everyday moments, a simple family dinner, a quiet morning walk, a really good conversation with a grandchild. This stage of life brings a specific kind of freedom and depth to relationships that you simply don't have access to when you're younger.
Okay, so we've identified the challenges. Let's move to the next part and see how this builds into your blueprint for thriving.
How do we successfully navigate all of this? Look, if you take anything away from this explainer, let it be these core habits you can start today. Stay physically active, even if it's just a short walk. Ferociously protect your social connections. Create a daily routine that injects real purpose into your mornings. Keep learning new things to challenge your brain. Review your finances regularly and prioritize preventative healthcare. And most importantly, do not navigate this stage alone. Ask for help. Reach out to family, professionals, or community groups. Asking for support is absolutely a sign of wisdom, not weakness. And this brings us to our central, overarching takeaway. The years between 65 and 75 aren't difficult because life is ending. They're difficult because life is changing. And any change, even positive, beautiful change, requires adjustment. But the data shows us that with the right preparation, the right support, and by leaning into these healthy habits, these years can truly become some of the most rewarding and fulfilling years of your entire life.
Now, before we wrap up, please just note that this explainer is for educational purposes only and is not a substitute for professional medical advice. Always consult your healthcare provider before making changes to your routines. If this deep dive helped you out today, please subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss our focused, slide-based learning content. And now I want to leave you with a question to reflect on, and I'd absolutely love for you to share your thoughts in the comments below. What has been your biggest challenge or your greatest lesson after age 65? Your story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear today. Thanks so much for learning with me, and I'll see you in the next explainer.